Hey guys, so because of what's been happening a lot in the news lately with Blake and Ryan and the whole Justin fiasco, I really wanted to talk about something that I don't think a lot of people are talking about in terms of their bantering with each other, Blake and Ryan, that is, right? A lot of people do not like them now. A lot of people used to love them. I actually used to be one of the people that thought, hey, they're pretty cool. Their relationship seems pretty fun and interesting, and they can banter back and forth, they can troll each other. And so I always thought, that kind of relationship where you can have the same kind of humor is pretty amazing. And I think a lot of us, maybe not you included, but me for sure, when I read, I didn't follow them on Instagram or on Twitter or anything like that, but it would just pop up randomly on social media where one of their tweets or one of their trolls to each other would become viral, right? And it was cute. I have to admit it. I have to be truthful. It was cute and some of it was funny. So we're going to talk about today, what does it look like when it's actually not cute, when it's actually toxic, when you are bantering back and forth with your partner, and when you're joking with each other, and when you're trolling each other, and when you are roasting each other. When does that become toxic? And is their relationship actually toxic? So I don't love talking too much about relationships of celebrities that I don't know them. I can only speculate, and I really don't want to do that too much unless it's for our benefit unless it's to gossip, unless it's for our benefit in terms of what can we learn about it so that we can improve our own relationships, right? So that we can improve our partnerships and that with the people we love. And so, okay, let's talk about, I want to show some really fast just things that they have back and forth with each other, tweets and jokes and etc. So there's somewhere, Ryan posts unappealing pictures of Blake, and she's a beautiful person, right? She's gorgeous. And, there's some where Blake is making fun of Ryan. So all of these ones that to the average person, I want to say for most people, to be honest, it seems harmless. It seems a little bit childish, but it's pretty funny at times. Now, when does it get to a place where you're crossing the line? That's the question, right? Because what's happening now with especially what Ryan is doing to Justin, it's definitely crossed the line, right? Especially with that promo video he did with Blake's other co-star. I can't remember his name. The other man in that movie, It Ends With Us, and where he even brought his mom. Ryan brought his mom. It just seems extremely childish, and maybe I'll touch upon that a little bit later on. But what I do want to talk about is, the four main things of when the seemingly harmless joking crosses a line into toxic, crosses a line into passive aggressiveness. What does that actually look like? Okay, so this is a big one. The first thing is when you're joking about your partner or with your partner and you're touching upon things that they're insecure about. Okay. So, in terms of Blake and Ryan, if, Blake really seems like she has it all, right? So, what does she have that she is insecure about? We don't know. Okay, we can only speculate, but I'm sure she has insecurities. Like without a shadow of a doubt, she has insecurities just like the rest of us. One thing she may not be insecure about is probably her hair. She has beautiful hair, right? They're full, they're thick, they're long, like they're wavy. It's gorgeous. And no wonder she has a hair care line. Whole fiasco there. But let's say getting all the names mixed up. Let's say Ryan actually makes fun of Blake about her hair. Something that she's not insecure about. We don't think she is, okay? If he makes fun about her hair, then it's fine. She brushes it off. It's funny. The joke goes over her head. Like it's not a big deal. Okay? That's fine. But what if why do I keep saying Justin? What if Ryan makes fun of something else about Blake that she's super insecure about? I don't know what that may be, and I'm not going to speculate. Okay? And not only that, obviously she's hurt, right? And I want to paint the scenario where what if he makes fun of her about something that she's insecure about and she doesn't speak up, and Ryan doesn't actually know that he's making fun of her. He doesn't know this consciously. I beg to differ, however, that when he's making fun of Blake about something that she's actually insecure about, he knows. He's been her husband for however many years. They have like 3-4 children together. For sure, he would know if he was to make fun of her about something that she's insecure about. So why would he do that in that case? This is all speculation, of course. I'm giving an example. So why would he do that? Well, there's a few reasons, in my opinion, why someone, a partner like that, would consciously make fun of their partner. They're holding something inside, so they're resentful. Okay? They're resentful about either a previous fight, or they're resentful because they've actually lost respect for their partner. So if Ryan actually has started to lose respect for Blake, whether it's because of things Blake has done, such as disrespect Ryan first, or it's like a two-way thing, or it's things that she has done that just garnered a lack of respect from Ryan. Let's say she treats people, she doesn't treat people well, okay? When you don't treat people well, you actually lose the respect of others around you. Or let's say she's really, she's super insecure about everything, okay? Then you're not really drawing the respect from your partner when you have absolutely zero respect or zero confidence about yourself. It's very hard unless you have an extremely loving and selfless partner. So whatever it is that she has done in that example that has garnered Ryan to disrespect her, he's going to be able to make fun of her that much easier. Now, maybe Blake didn't do anything, okay? Maybe it's Ryan. Maybe Ryan's the one who has all these issues, and he's not able to respect Blake. And so in that case, he's holding all this resentment or all this disrespect for her, and therefore he's able to say something to her as a way of joking that actually jabs at her. And this is really insidious because a lot of times what might happen is it's disguised as a joke, it's packaged as a joke, but inside it's a little truth bomb, right? It's like the Trojan horse. And so when the partners are doing that to each other, you are establishing these major cracks in the foundation of your relationship. And so in that scenario, if Blake doesn't speak up, okay, and Ryan unconsciously, in this case, I believe consciously, because he's intelligent, he's actually quite a smart individual. If he was to pick on Blake's insecurities, he consciously does it, then he has a reason to. And the problem arises when they don't have a conversation about it, when neither party brings it up. Now, why would that happen? Okay. Ryan's obviously not going to bring it up because if he's already gone to a place where he's disrespecting his spouse through jokes, he's not going to be the one. Most likely, if this has happened for a while, most likely he's not going to bring it up. He's not going to say, I'm sorry, hon, I think I've just said something really insensitive, even though it was meant as a joke, but I'm sorry, I hope it didn't hurt you. He's not going to say something like that, okay? So it's up to Blake to bring it up because he's crossed her boundaries, right? She needs to speak up for herself. If it's something that is insensitive and if it's something pointedly at a insecurity that she has. And so in this case, why would Blake not speak up? Blake wouldn't speak up because she's scared. She's scared to bring this up because she already knows what Ryan's going to say. he's probably going to say something like, honey, it's just a joke. Okay? Like, don't take it so seriously. Like, you know, we love joking. You know, we love roasting each other. You know, we love trolling each other. He might say something like that, right? And Blake, already knowing that, in that situation, she could be too scared to bring it up. Because when you bring it up, when you say something like, that has hurt my feelings, you are completely vulnerable. You are completely vulnerable for a man like Ryan to attack you back. Because essentially, he's not really attacking you. He's more so defending himself, right? But within that defense, he's attacking. So Blake would feel like she has no defense when she is vulnerably sharing the fact that she's hurt. This is why it's so difficult to have real, truthful conversation in a communication in a relationship, because both sides actually has their shields up at all times. Why? Because the closest person that we have in our lives is the person who can hurt us the most. And so in this case, Blake is most likely, she's not going to say something. Okay? She's not going to say something because she's scared, and she's not going to say something because she doesn't want to be vulnerable, and she's not going to say something because she doesn't want to be the person who can't take a joke. All right? Now, it could happen in a conscious or unconscious level. By that, I mean she could consciously think, yeah, I'm not going to say anything. Or unconsciously, she's just going to ignore the joke, right? Or she will laugh at it because it's the thing that they do, right? But she's not going to feel good about it. But it's unconscious to her. It's not a thought in her mind that goes, hold on, wait a minute. I don't like that. I'm going to say something to him. Once again, this is all speculation. I'm not saying this is what's happening in their lives. I'm saying when a relationship, when you have humor as one of the baselines of your relationship, one of the foundational things that connects you both, right? When it can become toxic. Now, I've experienced this in my life, not with a partner, but with friends. When I was in my 20s, I was, attending a new community of people, and I came across three new friends that they were extremely funny, and they were just great to be with. The problem started arising when we started to joke with each other in a way where it was constantly putting each other down. Not constantly, but there was a lot of it was, poking fun at each other. A lot of it was making fun of each other. A lot of it was roasting, right? I mean, all the same things. And so at first, I didn't realize that how it was making me feel. I didn't realize that the more we did it to each other, the less I felt safe with them. And so even though I actually really enjoyed their company in terms of they were smart, they were sassy, they were extremely funny, right? And again, it wasn't like every single joke was a roast, but a lot of it was. And so you have the good with the bad, which is most relationships, right? You have a combination of both. So that's why it's so hard to separate what's good and what's bad in a relationship, because our minds wants to be binary. Our minds want to see things black and white, so we can easily make a decision. But most relationships are not black and white. They're very much gray in the muddy waters of the pond. And so this friendship that I started developing, and I was very close with them. So I also wanted belonging, right? One of our core human needs. I also wanted to have a social life, right? They weren't my only friends, but they were like a core group of friends. And I started to also realize that sometimes I didn't actually want to hang out with them. And I didn't feel good after hanging out with them, right? And so I realized also, this is what's interesting. Also, I realized that a couple of them had a hard time being sincere with each other. Now, when I say sincere, I don't mean they're like lying to each other. No, they weren't like that. They were good people. They were actually really good people. By sincere, I mean, being able to tell your friend how much you appreciate them. And I know we don't do that very often. It's not like something that we do in the society. It's not a common thing, right? But the ability to not even be able to say, hey, I love and appreciate you very easily. Instead, the way that they will show appreciation is by roasting, right? And so later on, maybe like a couple years later, when I actually start developing deeper relationships with some new female friends, girlfriends, I start to realize, wow, like my relationship with these other friends, which is so much healthier, right? My previous group, they weren't all, it was like there's 4 of us essentially, roughly, and there's 2 guys and 2 girls, right? Me and another girl. And so after slowly not hanging out with them anymore, I started making individual like female friends and like sisterhoods, like talking about deeper things in our lives that we can be vulnerable, like truly vulnerable about. And whereas with my previous group of friends, with the girl in that group, I could talk a lot about deeper things, but I couldn't be really, really vulnerable with her, like truly vulnerable, because I often felt judged, right? And often when we tell stories, like you're hearing my story from my perspective, right? She also has a perspective. They also have a perspective, right? Again, they're not bad people, but this is going to be another video which I'll dive deeper into that friendship, because I think there could be a lot to be learned from that. Because I truly believe that with any relationship, there's no villain and victim. Because as I'm telling you the story, you're probably thinking, oh, like poor Cece. I'm the victim. I felt judged. I felt like I couldn't relate to them. They were being super toxic. I don't want to paint it like that. I want to change the narrative about villains and victims. Because I truly think that when it comes to a relationship, it's a dynamic. It's how every single member of that group has contributed to that group that creates a dynamic. Okay, I'm not going to talk too much about it. But all that to say, roasting in that group was the predominant way of connection, communication, and having fun. Okay? I love a good roast. I do. I truly do. I am very sarcastic a lot of the times with people that I'm close with and with people that I can share that humor with. But after having gone through that situation, that friendship, I started to be so much more sensitive to who I'm being sarcastic with, and what I'm saying that's sarcastic is, what is it that I'm saying about this person? Like, what is the topic of my humor? Is it directed at this person in a way where it's something, again, number one, is it something that they're insecure about? And all of us can be sensitive to that. It's not very hard for us to figure out whether somebody is insecure about something. It just takes observation, right? And also, it depends on the person. Is this person, do they like being roasted, right? Are they able to give back? Are they just kind of like taking it? And you're like, oh no, right? And I think a lot of times with humor, you want to be self-deprecating in order to make the other person feel safe, feel secure, feel good, right? Again, a whole other topic for another video. But let's go back to Blake and Ryan, right? I wonder, I'm sure the foundation of their relationship started off with this connection in their humor, and that's awesome. Like, I love that for them. I love that for myself and for whomever, because humor is like, it's huge in a relationship. And not everybody has your humor. Some people, they make jokes and, they're having a good time with someone and you're like, what the heck are they laughing about? Like that is not funny. but they love it. Like they're connecting over it, right? And you have to find the person that you has the same kind of funny as you. And when you do, it's the greatest thing ever. And so I love that for Blake and Ryan. But I wonder if lines has been crossed, right? I wonder whether both of them are sensitive to each other. I wonder if they care more about the humor, about the roast, and about the accolade of, wow, that was such a good roast. Or do they care more about protecting, loving, and cherishing their partner, right? And I truly wonder because I don't know. So I can't speculate, and I don't want to. But we can learn something from it, right? Because number one, as I mentioned, was insecurities. Okay. Now, if they go back and forth without protecting the other person from their roast, meaning like they're observant of making sure that that joke did not dig deep. And you don't have to be like observing, but we all observe at all times, with all people. And if we're sensitive, if we're willing to be sensitive about it, if we're willing to open up our ears and our eyes, we can start to learn whether our jokes or the things we say are building somebody up or tearing them down. Tear them down. Tear them really down. And then build them up. By that, I mean like obviously with people that you're really, really close with, right? Okay. Now, if the humor is so one-sided, number two, the humor is so one-sided, it becomes bullying, right? If the person cannot reciprocate, if they can't like clap back, if they can't like, joke around with you and make fun of you, it becomes bullying, right? Everything I say, take it with a grain of salt because there's always, always, always an exception. All right. Okay. Ooh, this is a good one. When private matters become public content. Man, oh, I could go on about this. I don't know how long I've been talking for because I can talk for a long time. And since you're still here, when private matters become public content. Now I've seen this. Oh my goodness, it's so painful. I've seen this in so many times with couples where you're hanging out with a couple, okay, and or you're in a group setting, and they're very not how do I say it? Understanding, I guess, is a word of how to protect each other. Okay, so you can see like the wife or the girlfriend rolling their eyes and going, oh yeah, he doesn't do this when he's at home. Like, that's so awesome that he's helping you wash the dishes, but where is this amazing guy when he's at home? Right? She's like joking about it, but she's serious. Okay? That's a private matter. Like whether he washes dishes at home or not, it's a private matter. Now, of course we joke about it. Of course we can, and we've done it, right? All of us done, like we've made fun of our partner in front of our friends. But this is such a fine line, right? To what extent? Like how sarcastic are you? From the scale of 1 to 10 will determine whether the joke lands and your partner is not offended, or whether you're making everybody at the table feel uncomfortable, right? And that is a fine line. It truly is. And it's just, how do we know? Well, do we actually have resentment in our hearts when we're saying that joke? And that we have to be very, very self-aware. Because in the moment, especially when we're saying, like, no, I'm just joking. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm not resentful. But are we really? And if we really are, then I believe we shouldn't say it. Okay? But if we're not at all, if we're not not at all, like I don't care if he washes dishes or not. He actually washes dishes all the time. Like if we're not at all joke about it, I don't know. I feel like the energy, people can just feel it, right? You've been there. You've been in a situation where you felt really uncomfortable when a friend is in a relationship with another friend of yours and they are making fun of each other and it just crosses the line. Okay? And husbands, boyfriends can do the same, right? Either behind their girlfriend's back or right in front of them, which is, I mean, you're just tearing them down at that point. Do not do that. Do not ever do that, because the first thing when it comes to a relationship that is beautiful and intact, the first thing that matters is honestly not love. It's respect. Because if you stop respecting someone, like, love cannot follow that. Love encompasses respect in it. So if you don't respect them, you don't show them respect, then you are taking away their dignity in a sense, right? You're tearing down this human in the most basic, fundamental way. Do not bring private matter into public content. Okay, number 4, finally. If one partner seems uncomfortable or hurt by it, just press this button. Don't really know if it did anything. Can you still hear me? Okay, so if one partner is hurt by it, okay, I've touched this earlier on, hopefully the relationship between Blake and Ryan is at a place where they can be completely vulnerable with each other, where they're able to tell each other, hey, that joke actually, hun, it actually hurt me a little bit, right? And let me paint this picture of what that conversation could look like in the good way and in the ugly way. Okay? Okay. So let's say Blake is hurt by this joke that Ryan says. And I'm trying to think of like these jokes that they've actually written on Twitter, but I can't remember them. Like very, very vaguely, something about I want to F my hairdresser. Like, I don't think that was a good one. I don't know why that stayed with me. Anyways, doesn't matter. But let's say Ryan makes fun of Blake and Blake is unhappy about it. She's going to bring it up, okay? And she's going to say to him, now, if he passively aggressively did that, it's very difficult for him to say, I'm sorry, honey, in a very sincere way. Okay, so what he may end up doing is he may end up, like I mentioned, brushing it off. Okay, and he may end up actually digging deeper and making fun of her even more. Okay, which is terrible. Like, nobody would want to be in a relationship like that with anyone. Okay, male or female, doesn't matter. Okay, let's talk about what the healthy way should look like. So if you actually want to have this conversation with your partner because they've done this to you, what should it look like? Let's say you bring it up and you say, I want to tell you something, and it's not the easiest thing for me to say, so I hope you can hear me out. The joke that you said earlier, to be honest, it actually kind of hurt me, and I really hope that you don't say it again. That's obviously said from a girl's perspective, right? And you're going to be vulnerable, you're going to be soft, and you're not going to attack. Attacking them, not going to end well, okay? Now, the guy, if he is a good guy, if he actually loves you, if he actually cares about you, which he should, because you care about the things that you love. If he actually does, then he's going to respond with something like, I'm so sorry, like it was a joke. I didn't know. I honestly did not mean to hurt you. I'll never do it again. Okay? He may respond like that, which is amazing. You move on, observe. Does he do it again? If he does, you're going to have another conversation, etc., etc. What if he becomes defensive? Okay? If he becomes defensive and you say, no, it's just a joke, don't, I didn't mean to, like, it was just a joke, okay? Do not defend yourself okay, in that scenario. Do not say, okay, but like I was still hurt by it. Okay, I know it's a joke, but like I was hurt. So don't say it again. Soften your voice. First thing you do to get his defenses down is to say, yeah, I know it's a joke. Hey, like, I know you probably didn't mean it. I'm sure you didn't mean it. I know you love me. But I just want to tell you, it did hurt me because I'm really insecure about my hair. I'm really insecure about my skin. I'm really insecure about, my weight. And when you make fun of me, I know you're just joking about it. And I know you're probably just doing it in actually a loving way. But it did hurt me. And I'm going to be okay. But I want to share this with you because I want to be real with you. And I want us to be real with each other. Like if I ever say a joke that hurts you, even if I didn't mean it, I want you to tell me because I love you and I never want to hurt you, even if it was by accident. Okay? What's so difficult about this conversation is that the person who started this conversation is very hard because you are putting your heart out there, right? You're being so sincere about what's hurting you, and the other person could like just step on your heart, can tramp on it. But this is the only way we can build deep, long, lasting, true, intimate relationships. By taking out our heart, showing it to the other person, and giving them the opportunity to either take it in their hands and cherish it or stomp all over it. Unfortunately, it's the only way. And so, to conclude, is Blake and Ryan a toxic couple? I think all of us has the opportunity to be toxic in our relationships. I think what Ryan has done to Justin shows just how toxic he can be. It's a clue into his psyche, right? With the whole NicePool and just the whole fiasco of what they're doing, right? Based on current evidence that were shown, which is very much in favor of Justin. Who knows after I've posted this video what would happen? But even if, let's say, script flips and it's completely Justin's fault, okay? Even if we have this like video evidence of Justin harassing Blake somehow, okay? Even if that was the case, I still think what Ryan did, which is to make fun of Justin, which is I don't even know how to to make fun of him in a very degrading way is extremely childish. It's a very, very childish way of answering, of responding to whatever may have happened in their lives, right? And that is a clue to his psyche, which shows very much his passive aggressiveness. And so if he's doing that to other people in his lives, if he's doing that to his enemy, will he do that to his closest person? Up for speculation, but I want to say there's a slight chance. I hope not, right? But if I was to see that in my partner, I'd be concerned. If Ryan was my partner and he did that to my director, under any circumstance, I'd be looking at my husband like, what? Please don't do that. Like, there's no honor in what you're doing. There's no dignity. There's no respect to yourself for doing something like that. All right? Okay. So what does healthy partnership look like? Well, we'll talk about another time. Next week's topic is going to be about Ryan being protective or controlling What does it mean when someone is protective? And how does that fall into the epic pit of blackness of control? You understood that sentence. So that's going to be a really interesting topic. And I do want to tell you that, this being my very first YouTube video on here in terms of long form, I appreciate you watching all the way to the end. I would love to hear your perspective. I would love to hear whether you've had experiences where you've been in a group of friends or you've been with a partner and it's become a toxic kind of back and forth bantering, making fun of each other, trolling, joking, roasting. I'd love to hear your story. I truly would. Because the more we talk about things like this, I think the more we come to understand ourselves and each other and how to build the most beautiful, epic relationships, which is the best thing about this world that we live in, right? The people that we love, the people that loves us back. And so, thank you for being here. I truly appreciate you.